Hello and welcome to the FE Bar. I'm your host, Jack Giordmaina, and joining me as always is Mr. Jack Pickering. He's done it! Oliver Rowland is our new world champion. That early season form really proved vital for the Englishman. Come and tell us what if you're happy for him. The Jaguars are back! Cassidy winning again in Berlin, and Mitch Evans showed us just how good he is. We're also going to be taking a look at silly season because we've got lots of potential moves. But remember, we can't do this show without you, so remember to hit that like and subscribe button. Join the waiting room. We can't do this show without you. Mr. Pickering, how are you?
I'm good. Yeah, we're on a little bit later than normal because
it's my fault.
Well, yeah,
it's my fault.
It's Jack's dad's birthday, which makes it two of them in 1 week. We can say that because it was my dad's birthday on Friday.
Nice.
So yeah, and I subsequently ruined a lot of plans for that as well by getting a puncture coming home from work and sitting at the side of the road for 4 hours. So yeah, it's been an interesting weekend, but have been able to stop Formula E in the middle of that. But yeah, yeah, and to be fair, because it was Dad's birthday, that's why I wasn't in Berlin.
Fair enough.
I would have done Berlin if it weren't Dad's birthday. So
okay. Well, yeah, I knew today obviously collided, but you know, live he has work, so basically he's going to bed now. So, but I was hoping
my dad's retired.
Yeah, so I was hoping that, you know, we'll be all right because he's got to go to bed early. So even if we had to delay it 15-20 minutes, I thought it's not the end of the world. But then I realised everything's running massively behind, and you're like, all right, we're gonna just have to delay. But it's going to be quite a fast-paced show today because we want as many of you on as possible. I know
because I've only woken up from my nap and I need another.
But you should be fully ready.
I'm really not.
Berlin, the only thing I'm going to say about Berlin, right, it's boiling, right? I've come back, my room's hot, it was a nice warm day again in the UK. Oh my God, I got absolutely sodden on Saturday and on Sunday.
Okay.
But okay, so
I was about to say stinch, because you were saying about how hot it was. And
yeah, it wasn't cold in Berlin. Saturday was not as warm as Sunday. Sunday was actually quite nice. You could actually get the sunglasses out. So if any of you that follow me on Instagram, if you want to follow me on Instagram, my name is there. Just type that in, you'll find me. But if anyone would, I had my green blazer on, nice shirt, trousers.
Yeah, no, I saw that. Just into the nines.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Sam Bird said I was. That's a snazzy green jacket. But anyway, we went out for dinner with the Germans. Tobias from obviously the eFormula News and eFormula DE went out with them and a couple of other journos, and it chucked it down on the way back to the hotel. My coat was drenched, my blazer underneath was drenched, my shirt underneath that was drenched, my trousers were drenched, my shoes were drenched, my socks were drenched, and got back to the UK today, they're still wet. And
that genuinely doesn't surprise me.
Do you want to know an extra piece of information which has scared me slightly because I haven't got it off? So my socks, right, had like a little design on them, and I don't know if it was my socks or my shoes because I was wearing black shoes. I have these black like ink marks on my like feet, and I have tried to scrub, and they're still there.
Right, just whack it and vanish for a day. Right,
whack me feet and vanish. My fingers crossed at the end.
Right, okay, so yeah, so Saturday for me. Well, so Dad and Nan have the same birthday, so we were all celebrating Nan's birthday. Then we went back to my uncle's for a barbecue.
Yeah.
In which, like, I mean, I don't like insects whatsoever. I just hate them. It's not just wasps or bees or whatever. It is insects across the board. And there was one point where I was about to take a bite of chicken, and a ladybird landed on that bit of chicken, I flicked it.
Yep.
And the ketchup that was on it went all over my white shorts and everything. And so yeah, no, that was fun. But,
I had a nightmare. We'll get on
I then changed the tyre using those white shirts yesterday, so they had to go through Vanish. So
I had a mini disaster on the way to the airport. Going to Berlin, I had some chocolate milk and I got it on my shirt, and I was like, oh God, had to with some water and soap to get it off. But yeah, right, we're going to take calls very quickly. But we got to talk about the obvious thing.
I've just got very confused. So coming in chat saying Jack's got a natural tattoo on the foot, and I thought, but I want to get a tattoo on my foot, so I just got very confused about that.
Yeah,
sorry. Proceed.
But we got to talk Ollie Rowland and that kind of race on Sunday, right? Our new world champion. I wanted him to do it, right? I did want him to do it. There was me and Nick Golding, he's not on the show because everyone's on planes back from the rookie test today. So
Nick Golding has just landed. I have been informed that Nick Golding has just landed.
So he was on a flight. He was on a flight earlier than me then. My flight got delayed yesterday, but anyway. So maybe I had the struggles yesterday rather than Nick. But obviously, the race was kind of a strange one, and I put it to Rowland in our interview on TikTok and on YouTube, !YouTube if you're here, so not. So !TikTok if you want to follow us on TikTok. We're nearly at 100 followers. We'd love to get to 100 followers fairly soon. I said to him, I thought the beginning of that race was really fast. We were expecting this high-energy race, and these Porsches, they went for it, and when we saw that the Verline had the opportunity, not the opportunity, but the lack of energy.
Yeah.
I didn't think the drop off would be that significant for him. I thought he'd drop back, but not so far back down that Ollie would win the title.
I thought he was doing a master stroke and only taking the 2 minutes. Yeah, it was going to be a bit of pain then, but I thought it was going to be a master stroke later on in the race. And he finished 15th after Nico Muller's penalty, which is wild. The thing is with yesterday's race is, I think it just sums up why I don't like peloton races.
Yep.
Because what was the point in qualifying? If you've got the top three, who started 20th, 16th, and 18th on the grid, what is the point of even doing qualifying? We've had Mitch win from the back earlier in the year in Sao Paulo, and it's just, for me, there's just no sort of point to it, and it's why I really don't like those races. And my hopes weren't exactly high from when Jake Hughes I said in the pre-race interview. I think he said something like this could be one of the highest energy saving races ever, or something like that. And I it was at that point I kind of screamed into a pillow, because the thing is, I really enjoy races like we had on Saturday, and the Saturday race I thought was really, really good, and then the Sunday race, it's one of those races that I just do not like whatsoever.
I kind of like both.
No real point to them. And it's something that I've moaned and whinged about, but there is no other series in the world where you would happily sacrifice the lead of the race.
Yeah, I was having
in 7th, and that is my issue with this style of racing.
Yeah.
Sure, it makes it exciting, but it also makes it fake. So it's not real for me. But I mean, going into that race on Sunday, obviously we weren't. I wasn't expecting Ollie Rowland to win the title. After what happened on Saturday, where he crashed into Van Dorn, he had the 5-place penalty for the Sunday race.
Yep.
And I thought, right, there we go. It's
it looked like it was going to come to London.
We've got our wish. It's coming to London, and and Pascal, I just don't know what happened.
He just didn't have enough energy. Yeah. They just went too fast. All the Porsche powertrains went too fast at the beginning.
I'm assuming there's an interview on our channel.
There is. Pascal Verlaine. Go watch it. Pascal Verlaine. So Pascal Verlaine was he didn't care too much about he didn't care too much about the title in itself, but he said he was very disappointed that they got it so wrong on strategy, and he said that's why we don't deserve to win this title. It's because we've made too many mistakes over the course of the season, and today was another one. They went too fast, and they couldn't get the energy back. And by the time they've gone into attack mode, because he's still trying to save energy, once the others got into attack mode, he couldn't overtake because he didn't have the energy to do it. He didn't have the energy to push through, so he just and it allowed Oliver Rowland. And I thought Oliver Rowland took a small risk. I was kind of, I think I got it right, to be fair. Like, I thought about lap 34, lap 35 might have been the optimum window to take that second attack mode if you're going to go for the win. He took it like lap 32, and I thought, that's a bit early, because he was the first one to do it, but he got him into that championship position, and luckily for him, fourth was all he needed, so he dropped back to fourth and took the title. But I think it's fully deserved. He's been brilliant. I know there was this little off period in the Asian leg after the Tokyo win, and it didn't go well in Shanghai, it didn't go well in Jakarta, it didn't go well first race in Berlin. And I asked him, and it was quite hilarious after I spoke to him on Sunday, because he apologised. He said, I was a bit... So if you watch the start of the interview, I'm like, where's the pace gone, mate? And he's like, no concerns. And I'm like, but you've been winning races, mate, and now you're nowhere. Oh, don't worry, I'll win again. And I'm like, and then he said to me on Saturday, I'm sorry, I was a bit short with you. I said, yeah, fair play. Like, I did push you, because I was basically saying, mate, why are you so slow? Like, what has happened? And you basically just didn't want to answer me.
So slow for Ollie Rowland is still extending his championship lead by coming 10th after a penalty. It's not exactly a bad day in the office, is it?
No, it's not. It's not.
The thing is, Saturday was a proper bad day in the office for Ollie, and so to bounce back with everything on the Sunday I think we should have sort of like realised that he was going to win the championship on Sunday after qualifying, because he wasn't supposed to be in the duels. It was supposed to be Jake Hughes.
Although Rowland could have improved, we don't know. He didn't get the chance. It's the final lap.
Then Rowland got allowed in, and then managed to put it in P3. I'll be honest, I forgot to watch any of the duels because Moto 2 was on at the same time.
Priority.
I got sidetracked. I was like, I need to come back to that in 10 minutes to watch the duel. And I came back onto it, and it's like the final sector of the final duel. And whoops. Okay, great. So if there was anything good that happened in the duels, please let me know. But
I can't remember off the top of my head. Normal stuff. Normal service.
The fact that like things were going his way throughout the day, we should have looked at it and gone, it's going to be done.
Yeah. So let's start taking some calls. So what we're going to talk about today, I'm going to run you down a list of things that we're going to cover over the next hour and 15 minutes at some point. So obviously the waiting room is filling up. We want you to come into !Discord. If you're new here, come and join the Discord. It's a great place. It's a great place to come and talk to. If you don't have a Discord, make one and come and join this amazing community that we have. We're going to talk about obviously Rowland's Championship. I want to talk about Cassidy, because I think he had, it was basically rinse and repeat. He didn't say it was quite the same, because he fell back. He started 10th, whereas this time he started 20th. But the way he won that race was basically the same as what he did last season. I think he's the best at that. We'll talk a little bit Mitch Evans as well in that sort of, because he showed us how good he was. Dan Ticktum, not going to Porsche. No contact has been made, no offers, no talks have ever happened between Dan Ticktum and Porsche, if you want to talk about that. Barnard potentially going to Penske. Where does that leave Jean-Eric Verne? That's something that we could talk about. And Stoffel Van Dorn has also thrown his hat into the ring because he's got a contract for next season. So 6 drivers don't go into 4. So what do you think is going to happen there, and your thoughts on that? McLaren team going, obviously that's a bit sad. And obviously the rookie session today. Gabriele Mini topping both sessions for in the Nissan, and we're talking about Nissan. Sergio Sette Camera, Pico, I know you're best mates with him, but he did get a point on Sunday, but wasn't the best.
You got 2 points, thank you.
Did you get a point on Saturday?
No, he got 2 points on Sunday.
He finished 10th. Muller's got a penalty.
Muller got a penalty.
Oh, I was on an aeroplane. So he got 2 points.
I'll be honest, I only found this out about 6 hours ago.
Fair enough. I was on an aeroplane, and then busy day. So 2 points, but again, it wasn't the most spectacular of weekends for Sergio Sette Camera. He thought maybe you would see more in qualifying, but we didn't see more in qualifying to sort of merit him racing in London instead of Norman Nato, for example. So plenty of things to discuss. Please make sure you come on and have a look, and we're going to talk to Natalie first. Natalie, you're on the FE bar. How are you?
Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
We're very well, thank you.
Tired.
Yeah.
I need more nap.
Me too. I start my 6 hours and I'm not ready.
Oh, yeah. Are you gonna have a nap before then?
I take it she's gonna have a big sleep.
I have to get the bus, so kind of not. But
so you're just gonna push through.
I'm gonna have to and drink loads of unspecified energy drink.
Yeah.
Fair enough. So, what did you make of the weekend?
Yeah, it was all right. I mean, as a Jaguar fan, finally, especially a Nick Cassidy fan.
Yep.
Because, yeah, it's been tough.
It has been tough. Nick Cassidy is brilliant at these types of races, and the way that he won Berlin last season, it was so similar to how it was won this year. Like, okay, last season he started 10th and dropped back to 21st. He was last, but he saved up that energy, but then used his attack modes to drop through the field. This time he starts at the back, saves the energy, and then this time goes absolutely bonkers and with his attack modes, does it at the right time, gets a bit lucky here, probably here and there with the safety cars coming out to help him, and wins the race and dominates it. He's just unreal at these types of events.
I just want to throw something in here for just very quickly. So Cassidy's won 2 of the last 4 races, and is only 10 points away from being 3rd in the championship.
Yeah, he's 4th.
He's 5th, but he's 1 point behind Acosta.
Oh, okay.
So, but yeah, the thing is, like, yes, it was a really bad start to the season, but the thing is, we're saying that it's nice, like, with Cass has been struggling. I don't think he has the last few.
No, he hasn't been struggling. He hasn't been struggling. It's just the car wasn't there, and they've obviously I still think, even though Evans, fair play to Evans on the Saturday race, because
he needed that.
Like,
he needed that so much.
He did.
And for me, I think it's still harsh to say, because, like, I still think Cassidy's, has had obviously the better of the season and has been the better Jaguar driver over the course of the season. And I don't know if Mitch would argue too much on that, even though he's had a bit of bad luck and here and there. But my God, if Mitch Evans wanted to state that he is a top driver in Formula E, he did it on Saturday. And he showed it from qualifying, because being a second a lap every lap showed that when the car is in that window for him, he's unstoppable. But unfortunately for him this season, it hasn't been in that window.
No. Since Sao Paulo, really, I think both Jags have been struggling all season. Up to Tokyo. Was it Tokyo or Shanghai that Nick won?
Shanghai won, Shanghai 2.
Yeah. Up to that point, the Jaguars were nowhere.
Yeah.
I don't know what they've done to it in the second half of the season, but the pace from both Nick and Mitch has been promising.
Yeah, it has been. Like, and Monaco was that turn point, because obviously Cassidy got on the podium in Monaco, and since then, really, there has been that turning point. They're still experimenting, as Mitch said, and they're going to continue experiment. And they wanted a dry race so they could experiment. And obviously, we'll have to see what happens going into next season, because I'm not going to discount Jaguar. We don't know what the driver lineup's going to be. We could talk about that a little bit later on. But
it's the team's championship curse, I'm telling you. It's the same happened with Envision last season.
Potentially, but like, Porsche are going to win the team's title this season. It looks very much like so. I can't see Porsche having bad luck next season.
It depends on the powertrain, though, to be honest.
But it's going to be the same powertrain.
Yeah, it's the same powertrain.
Yeah, there is that.
So
I think Jaguar have a much better chance next year. Whether they'll be able to take it to Nissan and Porsche is another thing.
Yep.
But I reckon they will be a lot closer and have a lot better season.
Indeed.
Because Cassidy didn't score points until I think it was the second Jeddah race this year. I mean, if you cap it,
I think he got on the podium in the second Jeddah race.
No. I think it was only like 5th or something like that. But yeah, even if you take it from that second Jeddah race onwards, then he would be. I don't think he'd be like there in the championship, but it would be maybe like be mathematically possible or something like that. Where,
Potentially.
obviously, Rowland's been
Brilliant.
amazing this year, and you can't.
He's been.
That.
No, Ollie's been on another planet this year, and I'm so glad he's managed to do it. Yeah, well, I wanted it to go down to London. In a way, I'm glad it's wrapped up now because it will be less stressful for me in a grandstand in London.
I am not happy.
And you can just enjoy the celebrations.
Because it's the first time since 21 that I haven't, that I'm not there to see.
Yeah.
The championship win.
Yeah. Either way, Mum's not happy with you two.
What? Why not?
She said Ollie would win the championship. You two laughed in her face.
Did we?
Can't remember laughing.
Well, you said it might not happen.
Well, it could have.
And it happened.
It looked like it wasn't going to happen at some points in Berlin. It looked like Verline was going to come back and take this, and set up a London finale. You know, if it went the other way, it could have easily been 20 points in the 20s going into London. But obviously it's done.
But it's Formula E. Anything can happen. Don't count your chickens before they hatch.
To be fair, we all thought Ollie was going to win the championship after Jeddah. So
yeah. Right, Natalie, we've got to let you go, though.
I didn't think it would be this soon.
I
think it was the main reason I went to Berlin, because I had a feeling. I was umming and ahhing about this one, and I think I said to myself, I think the champion is going to be crowned.
Yeah.
In Berlin.
Yes.
So I can't miss it.
I think going into from I think Monaco, we all thought that the championship might be wrapped up in Jakarta. But thankfully that wasn't mathematically possible after Ollie not having a great weekend in Shanghai. But going into this weekend, I was fairly certain that Ollie would win the championship. On Saturday night, I thought, let's go to London. So yeah.
Okay, right, Natalie, we have to let you go.
You were wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But thanks for coming on.
Alrighty then.
And good luck with your work shift.
Thanks.
Yeah, honestly, good luck. 3 a.m. is not the one.
Not great start times.
Not the one for me when I've been on 11.5s for the past 2.5 weeks.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
It's always around an FE bar. You've got to be on at 3 o'clock in the morning as well, isn't it? Always frustrating. But anyway.
Yeah, always.
Right. Well, we'll see you soon.
See you later.
Right, bye.
Bye. So
let's get Ricardo in. Ricardo, you are on the FE bar. How are you?
Hello, guys.
Good. What would you like to talk about? I have a feeling I know.
Well, I think you know what I have to talk about. So I spoiled everyone in the chat.
Yep.
And once again, I have to rant or give some words to Porsche because race Berlin 2 was the sum up of the season for Porsche in general.
Yep.
So Verline on pole, by a mile,
yep.
And then the race he finishes 15th.
Yep.
That's like Sao Paulo to Berlin summed up in one race, which is pretty funny. And the thing is, how can you, with 4 cars basically, because they put Beckman at the front of the field pretty early on, how can you mess up a race that was controlled by your 4 cars, by 4 of the 6, because Andretti, I think they're more independent.
Realistically, 5, because Nico Muller was there as well. He wasn't like right there, but he was sort of like 6th or 7th or something like that.
I am against
Porsche had like 5 in the top 6 or 7. I mean, and the only one to finish up there was the other one, Jake Dennis.
Yeah, it was Dennis that was 17th or whatever for 85% of the race. It's amazing, but yeah, this basically sums up Porsche season. It was full of promises. It was the Costa Pascal at the end of the season. Well, I thought I only watched race 2 and the finale of race 1, and I thought on the pace that Verline was putting on free practice and on race 2 and then on qualifying for race 2, I thought this is nailed on to be a showstopper for London, and last year, although the cars were different and the races were different, I thought, well, last year Pascal went against the odds and won in London against the Jags that were faster than the Porsches. So I thought maybe he could do this, but yeah, then normal services resumed, and Porsche's bad strategy, bad management hit on Pascal and Antonio. Basically, all of the Porsches that were in front, they just went to the back, and the Costa didn't go outside the top 10 because he didn't take attack mode. So yeah, I don't know. This was a messy season.
Yeah,
especially for me, as I saw, the Costa was the strongest. The Costa out of the last three seasons maybe.
Yeah.
And yeah, but although I am in general a Porsche fan, and although I am ranting, I just want them to do good.
Yes.
And when they promised such a domination from São Paulo to Mexico, I thought, well, this is going to be a showstopper between Antonio and Pascal.
Yeah.
But yeah, Ollie was there. Flowers to Ollie. He was supreme all season. It was. I was counting him to be right there or thereabout, but he came up to be the dominator of the season. And congrats to him. Congrats to Nissan. The management they had as a team was much better than Porsche, and I think that's what gave them the title. Of course, Ollie was fast throughout basically half of the season, and yeah, coming to Jakarta, to Shanghai, he just had to manage, and yeah, it looked rough, but he nailed it, and congrats to Ollie, and yeah, let's see if next season the Florian Modlinger learns from this, and we'll see. We still have silly season, and although I am confident Porsche will retain Antonio, I just have this rough feeling that they are going to let him go. For who? I don't know.
This is what I want to talk to you about, actually. So let's talk about this. There are rumours circulating that Antonio Felix da Costa could be on his way to Jaguar, and actually Porsche may want to keep him, but maybe the rumours are circulating. This is one of the silly seasons we want to talk about. That da Costa might be thinking, actually, for his own sanity, to go to Jaguar. There's a seat available alongside Mitch Evans.
This is something I just want to sidestep for a moment, because I just want to get, Ricardo, your view on what happened on Friday first. Because we got to speak about that.
Yeah, to be honest, I think it was just unnecessary, to be honest, and yeah, although I think Antonio and Pascal get on very well, I think Porsche's management I think it's because Pascal is German or what, but I think they tend to benefit more Pascal than Antonio, and on the early and early seasons, you saw that Porsche were benefiting more Pascal, but Antonio either way got the upper hand.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think Friday was just unnecessary, to be honest, and I am not surprised if Antonio wants to leave, because it was 3 seasons, and the whole 3 seasons they benefit. It was not evident, but I think it's there. They are partial with Pascal more than Antonio, and yeah, I'm not surprised he wants to leave.
Yes,
because
let's talk about it more. So in terms of the cost, obviously, there's been rumours that they've wanted to replace him for a while, and now from the rumours that I learned in Berlin while I was there, is that it seems that maybe da Costa might be actually starting to feel like, actually, you've looked at Rowland'S, you've looked at Muller, you've looked at all these other people. We thought Dan Tickton, but it's not Dan Tickton. Been fair play to Racing News 365 and Nick Golding for finding the information that there's been no contact between Dan Ticktum and Porsche. That's a non-story, even though, and as we say, the race have reported that, so therefore, not everything is 100% true that comes from Sam Smith, but obviously 9 times out of 10, he does get it right, but maybe on this one he's got it a little bit wrong. But maybe it seems like he's had enough of them trying to replace him, and he might be the one actually now looking to see what his options are. And for someone who is a Da Costa fan and you say a Porsche fan, if Da Costa does move to Jaguar, does that make you a Jaguar fan?
Well, maybe, just maybe, because yeah, I love Da Costa. He's the pivot of Portuguese motorsports. And yeah, wherever he goes, I will support him. So yeah, I quite like Mitch as well, although I like Cassidy more, to be honest.
Yeah.
And yeah, last year I was rooting for Porsche all the way, and if I saw a Jaguar, no way, Porsches have to win, period. But yeah, if Da Costa does land in Jaguar, I think it's. Well, if you told me that Da Costa was going to Jaguar, or maybe in Tokyo, Jakarta, maybe, I would think no, that's a bad idea. But now, looking in their recent form, switching a factory team to another factory team that this season is turning up to be a phoenix rising from the ashes. I think that it's pretty good because he's going to a different environment. He's going to partner up with Mitch, which is a good friend of his.
Yep.
And yeah, I think at the moment it's 80%, almost a no-brainer for Antonio, because Porsche have looked, as you said, to Rowland, to Ticktum, to Muller. And it's not from this season; it's also from the past season. And yeah, although you trust Porsche, trust Da Costa, but still look for other drivers, that means something. And if Da Costa feels after 3 seasons, after benefiting more Pascal than him, and still looking for other drivers, maybe it is time to go to a different environment.
And this is something that I'm really confused at with Porsche, because yes, sure, if you want to try and tempt Ollie Rowland to come over, if you want to try and get Dan to come into the team because he's performing really well at the moment in, let's be real, a year-old powertrain, not from this development cycle, or try and get like a Taylor Barnard or something like that. But we believe, well, the rumors are he's off to Penske. The thing is, if you can't get any of those options, surely the best option there is Antonio in terms of the complete driver. I can't think of many other options for Porsche to sort of go after. And if he does decide, right, that's it, I'm going to jump ship. And I know that it's been discussed that like Nico Muller's on a Porsche contract, and the whole thing was about him having a couple of seasons at Andretti, ready to jump into the factory Porsche seat. But if I'm brutally honest, and yes, he got a podium in Jakarta that was kind of taken back from him after Buemi got it reinstated, and he's been there or thereabout. Like, Jake's been, I'd say Jake's had the better of him this year, but Nico's been there or thereabout. But when you've got, let's call it, the best powertrain on the grid, which I think it is. I think Nissan is close, but I do think that Porsche do have the best powertrain on the grid. And if you look at the season that they've had, for me, it doesn't make sense to put Nico into the Porsche seat because he hasn't shown enough this year for me. And so if Da Costa does go, I think Porsche are going to be left scratching their heads more than not, to be honest.
Yeah, I do agree. Right, Ricardo, we're out of time. Thank you for coming on. Hopefully you can enjoy your beach walk. if you haven't already gone on it. It might be dark in Portugal. Actually, it's the same time as here in Portugal, so actually it might still be light.
It's the
So,
same time as here, but they're
time.
further over, so it should still be light.
Should still be quite light.
See outside.
Still a little bit. Thank you very much for coming on, though, Ricardo.
Yeah, thank you guys. Cheers.
See you
Till
soon.
next time.
Till next time.
Yeah, bye.
Bye. Perfect. We're rattling through these at the moment, and we're going to keep going. We're going to get Nikki in, and then we're going to just keep going. So if you want to come on, actually, I'm going to do some housekeeping before we talk to Nikki. If you want to come on, obviously, remember !Discord. You can become a member if you would like to become a member. I'm going to advertise that a little bit here, so I'm going to do that right now. You can join us as little as £2 a month. Helps out the channel massively and keeps us bringing some amazing content to you. So if you would like to become a member of the channel, please do so. We would greatly appreciate it, and you get a little cool, little colour. I think that is what it is on the thing. But it looks like it's interesting as well, because it looks like we got top fans, it says on the chat there, and I'm like, and it's like, I'm not saying Saz isn't a #1 fan, but it's interesting to find that the YouTube thinks that quite interesting.
But the thing is, it's also given #1 to Natalie as well.
Oh.
So.
No, Natalie is #1.
Oh, hang on, and #3. Wait,
and
what?
#3, we've got #3.
Hang on. She was #3 at.
Now she's #1.
Now
Is she overtaken? Is Saz not? Maybe Saz isn't talking enough. Oh no, maybe it's done on chats, interactions. Maybe that's how it's done.
I'll be honest. I noticed this in the Eurovision.
Yeah, and now it's come over to us for the first time.
But yeah.
No, right, Nikki's here.
Interesting.
Hey, can you hear me, boys?
We can hear you loud and clear.
We can hear you loud and clear.
I am one very happy person, actually.
Very happy. Go on, talk to us. Tell us why you're happy.
Obviously, I did predict it at the beginning of the year. I didn't really think it was just an off-the-cuff thing, but obviously Oliver winning the World Championship.
Of course, let's talk about Ollie winning the World Championship, because it was really interesting. I don't know if you listened to our interview, but he talked about the pressure. And the pressure was starting to get to him, right? And I think I saw that a little bit, yes, on the Saturday interview that I did with him, when he kind of bit back at me when I was like, where's the pace god, mate? Yeah, you were winning, and you're not winning anymore. And he kind of bit back slowly, but not saying much and being quite blunt. And I was like, fair play, like, I pushed you a little bit. But when we talked to him on the Sunday, he was talking about that pressure and, not going his way in qualifying. He picked up the 5-place grid penalty, and he saw Verline was smashing it. And in his head, he'd kind of worked up this, right, damage limitation, try and go into London with a comfortable lead, but obviously the race doesn't pan out that way. Porsche make the mistake by using too much energy at the start and being unable to recover, and he's able to do what he needs to do to get into championship position and take it.
Basically, Porsche did what Jaguar did last year in London, didn't they? They basically naffed up their whole strategy for the weekend.
Yeah. In the race they did, yeah.
Jaguar did last year.
A little bit, yeah. Because Verline, Porsche looked like they were on the hunt. And, we were thinking it was two ways, right? In terms of it could go Rowland's way, which it did, or it could massively swing into Pascal Verline's way. If he won the race and let's say Rowland finishes 8th or 9th, then he takes, even if he finished 4th like he did, he takes another 12 points out. It's in the 30 points. And then you're like, right, if Rowland has a bad London, if this form continues, Verline's there to pounce. And you knew Verline would be probably near the front. And he did super well in London last season. And he'd go in it trying to make a fight of it, and making Rowland nervous. And I think we saw those nerves from Rowland.
Which we don't normally see, because he's normally humble, polite. And I think the mistake on Saturday, because obviously I was at the Superbikes, so I watched it after the Superbikes. I actually felt like the pressure got to him too much, and I think that's why he made that massive mistake that he made, because it's unlike Oliver to make a mistake like that.
Yeah. And obviously when you're in the race and you're in the middle of the pack, and it was quite confusing with the blue flags, and it'd be interesting to see what they do next season, because obviously we have a pit boost. I think that track's too short. I think they need to change it. It's far too short.
Personally, in my opinion, they need to take Berlin out and put it somewhere else in Germany, because I don't like the track at all. I don't like the way that they changed it around from the year before. I just don't like the track anyway.
I agree with that.
I don't think. For me, I think Tempelhof is
the perfect place.
Tempelhof is the crown jewel in our calendar. I agree. This iteration of circuit is bad. It's
I
not
agree
good.
with that.
They need to change it. And the thing is, the joy of Tempelhof is we
can change it.
They can change it. They can change it to anything that they want, and that is something that I think they need to sort of look at. I think they'll keep it the same again for next year, but when Gen 4 comes, and Gen 4, we've spoken about this on the show before, that the leaps that the car is going to make, they need to change the circuit to make it longer, because if we're doing 57...
Yeah, but how are you going to make it longer at Tempelhof? Because it's quite a short place, isn't it?
The first track was massive.
Because it's... Yeah, because the...
And the apron is huge.
Yeah, the apron
was it? Because I didn't watch it from the very beginning, did I? Because I sort of watched it from like 20 onwards.
But still, like, even 2020, like, they had 3 different track layouts for the season finale. We had 3 track layouts for Antonio Felix da Costa.
I think they do need to, but the thing is, they can sort of go out a little bit further. Like,
there's plenty of room.
They can use more of Tempelhof. It'll be absolutely fine.
And the way that
that's something that they need to definitely.
Yeah,
I think they need to change some of the rules. I think personally they need 12 races a year that are double headers, right? They need to use.
Whoa! Slow down. 12 races or 12 locations? So 12 races, 6 locations, or 12 locations, 24 races.
As double headers, yes.
So that means 24 races.
Yes.
That's a lot of races.
But I think that the pit boost doesn't work on a single race. I like that strategy more than I like the peloton style, and I personally believe that the pit boost would work better as a double header.
For both races?
Yes. Because I think it would make it more interesting, and the strategies will be better than having it just like it was on Sunday, where it was frantic. You didn't know who was where, blah, blah, blah. At least if you had a structure, it would be better. That's my opinion.
Right. Hear me out here.
Go on.
What if we have a sprint race? And then we have a feature race?
Hey.
The thing is, some people are going to watch that and go, why is that a thing? This is a reference to a few weeks ago. Do not worry.
Yeah, I do think the format is probably something that is going to have to be looked at. I was having a discussion actually with the Porsche. I was in a conversation with a few other journalists with the Porsche PR, and they were saying that qualifying, we have an opportunity to make qualifying a big day. So I know you have the sprint, but like make qualifying a big, maybe a 2-day event, and having qualifying as some sort of big event, and making these, when we go to Gen 4, because you're right, qualifying is irrelevant in these peloton races, and we see that. But if we go to Gen 4 and we can have these races which are more like motor races, then maybe making qualifying where these cars are going to be like jacked up to the best low whatever downforce package to make them as fast as possible. Make that a big day. So that's one of the day's events. Is you're going to watch qualifying. This is us at our best, right? And see the cars at their best, a bit like Formula 1. So I don't know if that's something that could be done in the future.
Or you could have the format like they're having Superbikes or something like that, where they have a super pole where the first nine get through, and then like you have like 9 to 20 as like a qualifier or something like that. Because that would be very interesting as well.
Maybe. I said we need to be the world Superbikes to F1's MotoGP. That's what I've been saying. That's all.
What I'm saying, that because that's interesting, and it make the races more interesting.
Well, it'd be interesting to see how it makes the races interesting, but I don't know. I do think the format is something that needs to be looked at, and making the days feel special, like. But then they want double headers, so they want double. So what are you going to do? So if double headers are a thing that we're going to do, but then
I've never liked single weekends. I prefer it when there are double headers.
Okay, so
I'm sorry, but
let me throw this question to you then, because I think it's relevant. Would you pay at this moment to just go to a day of Formula E? There's no race, and you get a qualifying session, or just a qualifying session, or a sprint, or something like that.
I would
practice sessions.
A practice session and a qualifying.
I would pay decent money if that format was in place.
So there was no race, you'd happily just pay for a qualifying session.
Yeah, as long as it was interesting and it wasn't boring or blah blah blah. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
What gets me is when you pay your money and you have to wait for hours and hours, like when they have red flags, etc., which unfortunately is out of the person's control. Yeah. Do you know what I'm saying? But something's got to change. Personally, I believe that something's got to change with the qualifying format, because it's like Jack. I agree with Jack on this one. It's not relevant, and like Jack, I don't like the style of racing as it is. I don't find it interesting. I find it actually boring.
Yeah.
I don't think it's boring. I think it's too chaotic.
Yeah.
When you can't follow what's happening, and the thing is, like, if you're not paying attention for even 20 seconds, you miss a whole part of what's happening in that peloton race.
And if you're paying say you're paying like £100 to go and see that race, then that's not fair on the person that's probably, like myself, saves up every year to go and see that race. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So something's got to change with the format, I agree with a sprint, maybe do the Super Pole like they used to have, or, change it up a little bit and have it almost like MotoGP-esque. You know what I mean? Where you have the first 9 as the top 9, and then like the bottom go by the qualifying time is, or something like that. Not necessarily the same, but something different.
Yeah. Perfect. Right. Nikki, thank you so much for coming on.
I'll see you in London, guys.
See you in London.
Right, see you in London.
See you in London.
And actually, speaking of London, I'm just going to throw this out here. End of the show, I'll reveal when we're doing a meetup in London.
All right.
Okay.
I don't even know.
I don't. Yeah. No,
I don't even know.
I was supposed to tell you before we came on air, and I forgot.
Okay.
So
you're in charge of that.
Sorry.
Before we get someone else on, I just want to finish that conversation that we were having with Nikki, because when you think about the qualifying format, I feel for the people in Berlin fans. So Berlin is normally a packed venue, packed. If you watched on the TV, there was a lot of empty seats. Now, the reason why there was lots of empty seats is the ticket prices went up quite a bit. And when you then go to a race, and I know we had weather, right? But you go on that Saturday race, and you don't get FP2, right? Cancelled.
Yeah.
And you get a qualifying session which is 24 minutes long, because one 12-minute session, one 12-minute session. And because it's such a rushed format, Formula E, they condense it so that we can fit everything in. And obviously they got the race, which is supposedly the main thing that you're paying for, but you are paying for the other sessions and seeing the cars out all day effectively. And you just think, well, if you've paid 120 euros for Saturday, you got no FP2, you got 24 minutes of qualifying.
Sorry, they were paying 120 euros.
Yeah, around that. That's why there was a lot of empty seats.
Jesus
some
Christ.
people, obviously, Nikki.
That's the amount of, you could pay 120 quid to come to F1 Saturday.
Yeah.
Admittedly, you get a patch of grass.
Yeah.
But you'd still be sort of like in
a decent spot.
You'd sort of be like in the venue.
Unfortunately,
you'd be able to see the cars and everything. You'd be able to walk around. And the thing is, Silverstone's one of the most expensive races on the Formula One calendar. So yeah, 120 quid. That is ridiculous. Like, I'm not sure how much. Like, the thing is, like, I do feel like we're a little bit privileged in the fact that we get to go to these races and we get to be inside the paddock and everything like that, and we love it. But when you're paying that much, ridiculous. I was thinking
the prices have gone up.
I was thinking top, like,
I know the prices have gone up. The best people.
A grandstand ticket would be something like €80 or something like that. Like...
So the best people to ask is Nikki and Lou, because they obviously went to the race, so they can tell you how much they can tell you how much their tickets were.
I can give you an update on Luti. Hasn't left Germany yet.
Fair enough. Poor guy.
Thanks to Deutsche
So
Bahn.
if you find out how much they pay, but I was speaking to the Germans, obviously Tobias and so forth, and if he was on today, he would probably confirm. But I think from what we discussed, we were discussing it as we were walking, and I said it's such a shame because every year it's packed, it's sold out. And I was speaking, and everyone said it's because the ticket prices have gone up. The ticket prices have gone up, and everyone was quoting more than whoever I spoke to was quoting more than €100 for their ticket. And if you paid €100 for your ticket, and you haven't seen much,
if you get like a bundled ticket.
But there was other problems as well. So the autograph session.
If it was like a bundled ticket for both days, and you're spending like €150 on that, I'd sort of get that.
Yeah, so would I.
€120 for one day.
But people, there was the problem was there was add-ons. So
we aren't a big, we aren't big. Like, as much as we love Formula E and everything like that, we are not a big series.
No,
if
for
we're
sure.
Charging that much.
Yeah, there's a lot of issues. There's a lot of issues. I think there's an issue with merchandise prices. I don't know why we're the same as F1. Like, we shouldn't be. There's a lot of issues around that. But yeah, that was the. I mean, you just think if we're cutting things short.
I will say though, today at work I saw a blue cap that had 55 on it, and I thought, why is that person got a Jake Hughes cap? Because I'd forgotten that Carlos Sainz had moved to Williams.
Yep.
So,
but yeah, so problems there. So Saz is mute deafened. So this is Saz, your warning to undeafen. But I put Sam in, and then we'll get Zoe. Maybe we always finish with Sam. Hello, Sam. How are you?
I'm great. How are you both?
Well, I'm glad you're great. Yeah, we're not too bad. Yeah. Tired, to be honest with you. I've had very late nights and not stopped working pretty much since coming back from Berlin. But here we are, and we move.
Yeah.
So what would you like to talk about, Sam?
Right. On kind of following on from you talked with Nikki, I think just a quick point. Picker will like this idea. How I think at the minute practice doesn't get enough of an audience. So what about introducing, say, just a single practice session of 1 hour, and it's like a pre-qualifying session where you can still have enough time to do race runs. But then you can then set laps. Now, why I say Picker will like this is MotoGP, they have the advance to next stage of qualifying incorporated in that.
Yeah.
How about adding a bit of jeopardy? You get a bye from the first stage of whatever qualifying format they come to.
Yeah. So make practice more important.
Adds jeopardy and some meaning to the storyline. So then instead of just seeing a pre-practice session on the basic, everyone's just kind of going around. You know, it's a fight for it from the very start.
What do you think, Pico?
Yeah, no. The thing is with that, I think that would be great if. I don't think if the duels weren't such a hit. I think that the duels are such a hit that I think the way that the current qualifying format works is actually really good. If the thing is that, and I'll be honest, I have thought about this as well. But if it was where you had like 3 parts, if you had 3 parts of qualifying and the top sort of like 6. We'll go straight through to Q3, next 6 straight through to Q2, and then the next 10 would fight for each fight, and then top 4 would go up. Something like that, and so there'd always be 10 cars in a session, but then it would make practice meaningful. Yeah, I think so something like that would be really good, but the thing is, I do really like the duels, and I think the duels do bring a lot of jeopardy into things. But it's not sort of past the realms of possibility. Like I don't want it so like I remember back in the old system of qualifying, they used to give a point out for topping the group session, which I thought was a little bit ridiculous.
Oh yes, yeah. It's a bit now
before going into Super Bowl. But yeah, I think it's an interesting concept, and I think that's something that they could sort of work with, because I'll be honest, I don't think MotoGP have it nailed on the head, the fact that it's only dependent on that one session now, because it used to be all of Friday would make it would go through to Q2. Whereas now, because they want to do setup and everything, it's just the afternoon session.
Yeah.
And because they now do qualifying in the morning because of the sprint and everything, so yeah, it all became a little bit more complicated. So it's a little bit harder to follow now than it used to be. But I do really like the idea of trying to make practice somewhat more meaningful. But yeah, I think you're onto something there. But I think it needs a little bit more, but
consideration.
I don't know what that is.
Yeah.
And so, yeah.
No.
Yeah, because I think the thing is, if you have that singular practice session on the Friday, let's say, you can start later on the Saturday, which then kind of eliminates that really early typical start. You can have qualifying a morning. Actually, want to spruce it up, show off the Gen 4 in its full range, essentially. And then, again, having maybe a sprint in the afternoon or some sort of race. How then that affects me race on Sunday? Again, I don't have all the answers, but it's just, yeah. I just like the idea of just having it as a storyline telling throughout the whole weekend, rather than kind of being like FP1, it's on a Friday, no one can get it. It happened.
I think
that's my problem. The fact that they have a session that they can't watch anymore.
I think I found a problem with your sprint element. I think I found a problem. So we're moving away from double headers, so 2 races on to 2 different race rounds, right? My problem is I don't think Formula E is in a place where people will just turn up for a race and pay X amount of money. Because obviously, if you're on the Sunday, you just come and it'd be the feature race. There'd be nothing else, right? And I know for F1, you've got F1, right? However, we've got no support series, so you're going to pay £150 or whatever you're going to pay, and you're just going to turn up for the race. I don't know if that's a problem.
This is where I deviate slightly a little bit more, because I am in complete agreement. You would not turn up just for a race on the Sunday, and that's where I think like it. So the original idea, the original idea that I thought of was that there'd be like a reverse grid sprint on like a Saturday, and then you'd have 2 feature races on a Sunday, and then that's where it's close to World Superbikes. But so you'd have.
But
like
why
3
would you
races
have 2 races on a Sunday?
Why not? More action.
But then how are you qualifying these races and?
Yeah, one qualifying session sets both races. Like it's like
I think.
The thing is,
I think that
would still make it too cluttered.
I feel like that's too confusing. But I don't know how well
works.
works.
And this goes back to the thing that you said with Nicky Jack. Would you turn up for a practice and qualifying day?
No.
And that's what I do. I'd have a practice and qualifying day. Sure, market it a little bit less money, and then have the race day, which is you've got a warm up really early in the morning.
Yeah.
You've got a sprint mid morning, and then you got the feature race in the afternoon.
Yeah, because I think what when we were having that conversation, right, about having qualifying as its own day, is because what the Porsche PR guy was on about. He was saying that let's say Mitch Evans, you don't get to hear what Mitch Evans says. Like, the media don't get to do any content post-qualifying because there is no content post-qualifying. So you don't get to read about how Mitch Evans felt he was and why he was a second a lap faster than everybody else per lap on his wet day. You don't get to hear that piece of or write that piece of news, and you don't get time for that content to get absorbed, because it's like you write your qualifying report, but within 2 hours, within 2 hours, it's irrelevant, because then the race is done, and then your qualifying report, it doesn't get that time to allow people to. So I think that's where he was going with his argument. So, and that would constitute a more qualifying day, but I think qualifying's got to become really special. And I know people in chat have said they don't touch the duels, but I feel like you've got to make, if you're going to have qualifying as a standalone day, like, I know Formula One's has been traditional with it's free, but it works, but it's Formula One, and you get the best, they get quicker every single time. I don't know if we move to something like that and have a similar session, but we've always tried to be different than Formula One in terms of qualifying sessions. But unless we come up with another cool system, I like the duels. I think my problem with the duels is that there's just too long in between each duel. It takes forever to do qualifying.
I think the duration, I think someone pointed out, is that the fact is the whole duels process and the groups in the act itself at the minute, it just feels a bit. It feels sort of time-wise that it's given more of a spotlight when the points are in the race. So I do agree. It just allows for more digestion of what's going on, because again, it feels. I know that about the one-day format was kind of key. I mean, we got rid of that long ago when Friday came in. But I think at this point, if we're gonna try and grow the sport a bit, you need to try and allow as many people to view throughout the weekend wherever they want to drop in and make it worth their time.
It's also worth pointing out the one-day format existed in Monaco
for a very long time.
And only Monaco since season 9. FP1 has been on Friday evenings for every weekend since season 9. With the exception of Monaco,
which has to be done on all in one day.
Which also baffles me, because why does it all have to be done on one day when Formula One get to close it for 4 days?
I don't know.
And it's on a postcard.
Don't ask me. Right, Sam, we have to let you go because we've got 2 more people to try and get through, and I still got to talk about some topics with Pico that hasn't been covered yet. So we'll let you go. Thank you for coming on and taking the time to chat. And we'll speak to you soon.
Yeah, no worries. Thanks for the chat, guys. See you later.
See you later. What was I going to add? I felt like there was something I was going to add, but I forgot it. Now it's gone out of my head. I'm going to get Zoe in, and then we're going to end with Saz, potentially the calls. Although if you do want to come in, you've got loads of chance to come in. We'll try and squeeze you in, especially if you want to talk about what we're going to talk about in a moment, if you want to have your say on things like Barnard and what's going on at DS in a minute, because we're going to come on to talk about that. But Zoe, what would you like to talk about?
Hi, so I kind of wanted to touch on stuff that you were talking about with Natalie earlier about Nick Cassidy and Peloton racing, because I'm a bit biased in this because I am a massive Nick Cassidy fan, but I really think that was one of the greatest drives that he's done.
I think he's the best driver on the grid, and I think yesterday proved it again.
Yeah, I really think it does, and I think yesterday, when you match it with Shanghai, really does prove it, because it's 2 very different wins. One of them, he's pole dominated it all the way through. I know it's a wet race, but it's still complete domination. And the other, he's right at the back, and he's come all the way through. He's done an incredible energy save. I mean, his energy management has got to be the best on the grid, I think. When you look at even races where he doesn't need to be managing energy, he ends up with a lot more than other people. I think it was one of the wet races where he finished with a ridiculous amount of energy compared to everyone around for no reason. But you were talking earlier about getting rid of the Peloton races, and I think this is, as much as I don't necessarily enjoy watching them sometimes, I think drivers like Nick Cassidy are a reason I want to keep it around, because it allows different kinds of drivers to show off their strengths.
Yeah, and for sure, Cassidy is one of them. Da Costa was another one. I remember he did a Peloton style race and was 3% up in second place. Like, he had so much energy compared, and you deserved, and you won the race, and you're like, you deserve to win it. It is a different style.
Yeah.
The only thing I don't like about it is you can just sit at the back, right? So basically, the people at the front are not the people that might be winning the race. It's actually the people at the back. So you're looking at the people at the back of the grid of going, right, you know what they're going to do, and you can't stop it. You can't stop them just sitting behind and saving their energy. But the key to that is finding the right moment to attack. And that's the skill element, right? So the skill element is, when do you attack? And Nick Cassidy, and I said, you go back to, it was deja vu for me. It was deja vu for what happened last season when he dropped to last, was last on lap 21, and ended up winning the race because he conserved his energy and he attacked at the right time. Things fell into place, like safety cars. I'm sure that happened last season too. And he goes on and wins it. But that's the skill element, and that's where I know we don't like the Peloton style races, and we think there's no point watching between laps 5 and whatever 3 laps before the end.
There's no point watching the first 20 laps.
Well, that's what I mean.
I kind of think there is. I kind of disagree. I feel like there is kind of a point to watching it. I feel like maybe, I know this wouldn't really work because of the way that strategies work, but I quite like watching the first 20 laps because you get to see as those energy gaps grow. So if you could see, like, have the energy up all the time, and you see as these energy gaps are growing between drivers and who's saving and who's using too much. I know it wouldn't work because teams would immediately catch on to who's doing what, but that's why I think it kind of is worth it, because you can start like realizing who's gonna fall back and who's gonna end up coming to the front if you kind of like pay attention. But I know that that's not really what a lot of people want to be doing.
What I enjoyed, so I didn't do it this season, but last season when I was in Berlin, I enjoyed watching the race outside, so not on the TV, as if I was in the grandstands, and then you get a more broader look, so you kind of see what the people at the back are doing, because you don't see that on the TV coverage. You don't see what they're doing and how they're saving their energy, and then you kind of get a bit of a more understanding of that race, which you don't see on the TV pictures. So you can understand how they went from A to B and how they went from the back to the front in sense. And I do think these Peloton races, there is good behind them. And I was speaking to someone on the plane home yesterday who loved the race, right? And it was his first Formula E race. Loved it because they were so close, and it was just action, and it was just chaos. And it does have that element of chaos, and there's overtakes. Every time you're looking, something's going on, and it catches your attention. So I that's the positive of a Peloton race. But then the negative is when Formula E, for me, say that we had 400 overtakes, and you're like, well, half of them weren't real.
Yeah, that's the thing. I feel like Peloton races need to be marketed differently. Like, instead of being like, oh, look how many overtakes we've got, it's like, oh, look at this like strategic masterclass, because that's what a Peloton race is. It's a test of strategy. I will say, I was in Berlin, I was in the grandstands. Peloton races are a lot better when you're not watching from the grandstands, because obviously the TV coverage is slightly delayed. I was sat like
so you were in Berlin?
Yes, okay. I was in Berlin. And I was sat kind of at the final corners.
Yep.
And what would happen was, because obviously that's coming from a massive straight, is I would look on the TV coverage and it would be one person in the lead. I would then look down in front of me, and the person who was just in the lead is in P4. Somebody else is leading. And I'm like, oh, okay. Sure, like you don't see what happens because you're paying attention to the cars. So I will say that Peloton races are a lot better when you're not in the grandstands. But it was still enjoyable.
I enjoyed it not watching on the TV. I thought it was better watching it from the grandstands.
It is good in a way. It just depends kind of like what you're looking for, because you do end up missing a lot of the action. But if you pick out like a certain car and you follow what they're doing, then that's very interesting. Because that's what I was doing with Nick Cassidy. So I was very aware of the fact, oh, he's going to end up at the sharp end of this race, because I can see that he's saving energy. I can see the way that he was just deliberately kind of waiting, and I could tell.
That's what I like about it. You can see those things which you can't see on the TV. Like, we didn't see that. All of a sudden, Cassidy's up there. Like, what happened there, mate? How did you get here? But you know what he done, but you just didn't see it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's just like how different people see it. But I would say that, like, maybe there's a way to make it more accessible in the grandstands. Maybe by having, like, I don't know, just the screens are quite hard to see from where I was sat. Like, you couldn't see really any of the energy. You could, like, barely make out what lap we were on. So it was kind of just like, I guess we're doing this now. But I do think it just depends what you're paying attention to. But I think for a more, like, casual fan in the grandstands, a peloton race might be quite disorienting. Yeah. Because you just completely miss, like, 6 lead changes down a straight. But
did you have like a little earpiece with commentary or anything like that?
No, there's none of that.
I didn't. Obviously it's all in German, and I don't speak German.
No. That's the. I'll be honest. That was the other thing that was going through my head. Like, did you ever get? No, it'd be in the wrong language. So yeah.
Yeah. So I obviously didn't have on-track commentary. I had no idea what was going on.
But they normally play the commentary from Tom Brooks, I thought. No,
they didn't.
They will in London.
Yeah.
They will in London. Yeah.
They pipe it through the speakers and everything. So actually, London's like a decent one to go to because you've got a TV and you've got the thing. So weirdly, peloton race would work at a circuit that probably won't give any peloton racing whatsoever.
Exactly. I think I ended up at some points having to, like, pull my headphones out and, like, plug in. I think I plugged in driver radio at one point just to see what was going on. I think it was during qualifying when both Jaguar drivers came into the pits for, I believe they did tyres with different pressures, but I had no idea that was happening. So I just saw Jaguar drivers pulling into the pits, and I had to, like, put headphones in because you can't tell from the, like, on-track comms. Yeah. So, and during, like, the race, you couldn't really tell what was going on without the on-track comms if you're coming from somewhere else, but I understand that's just a problem with not speaking the language, but they don't have earpieces or anything, so...
I have to ask you then, because we were talking about earlier, if you don't mind, how much was your ticket? Or what made you pick that? Was that slightly cheaper than the main grandstand? Because obviously you weren't the main grandstand. So how much was your ticket?
My ticket was €67 for one day. I did both days, so obviously it came to a little bit more, but my ticket could have been like 50 something euros, I think.
Okay.
Because I qualify as a young adult, so I could have gone on that ticket.
Okay.
Mine was €67 for one day, and I think I was category B, like, in terms of the ticket categories. I think category A was probably more expensive if you were on, like, the main straight, but mine was €67, and I thought that was pretty good value. I also bought the autograph session package for one of the days.
Was the autograph? I was told that was high as €90, or how much was that add-on?
I got, like, so there was, I believe, like 2 or 3. I got the most basic one, which got you into the autograph session, which I believe was €50 and included a €20 food voucher. I didn't use all of that because I wasn't really hungry at the circuit, but so I had it on Saturday and it was tipping it down with rain, and I don't know, it just was very soggy, so I wasn't quite hungry. But so if you deduct the cost of food,
so there was higher packages though. So you
there
got
was
the
higher
basic.
packages.
So the top one could have been €90, because if yours is 50, the top one could easily be €90.
Yeah, the top one could have easily been €90, but to be honest, I was quite happy with what I got with my package. I mean, they said there was fast track entry to the circuit.
Yeah, and that was not true.
There was a fast track queue, allegedly, which I got in. And so I get to the front, and I had a bag on me, and they were like, no, you need to go, like, over there and like get your bag checked. And I was like, oh, okay. So I had to go to, like, a different queue and get my bag checked. But also the fast track queue was slower than the main queue anyway. So it didn't end up mattering.
Yeah, so that's what a lot of people were annoyed at. They paid for fast track entry, and there was, they said no fast track.
Yeah, I guess it was allegedly fast track, but because it was mixed in with, like, the accessible queue, and then you had the issues of they weren't doing bag checks at the fast track entry, so you had to, like, go round to the main entry to get your bag checked. It was all a bit of a mess. I would say it was worth it for the autograph session. I mean, I definitely got my value for money out of that, but the rest of the package was a bit like iffy. It was not the fast track entry was just not a thing, really.
It's interesting that because the autograph session once upon a time used to be free. Like, you just had to turn up early and you got a pass.
Yeah, I think
but now,
this year it's been really confusing. I don't like, sometimes they're giving it out to people who like bought their tickets first, which I disagree with completely, but that's for different reasons.
Yeah.
Wasn't Monaco? They had they just like randomly did it. Or something like that.
I don't even know. It was something like the first like 300 people to book their tickets.
I heard a rumor that not enough people brought the autograph session tickets because people didn't want to pay €50 to walk down the pit lane or whatever.
It was quite quiet. Like, I went on Saturday, obviously, so it was raining. But...
Saturday was, but they said that they allowed more people to come. I heard, this is the rumor I heard. Don't know if it's true or not, but the rumor I heard on Saturday was that they allowed Eddie, Tom, Dick, and Harry effectively to go to the autograph session because they didn't sell enough. But I know that they definitely were doing that with the pit lane walk. Like, that was, if you got to the track early enough, they were just like walking around. Maybe it was that. So
handing out.
Okay.
Yeah, they started like walking around, handing out bracelets for the pit lane walk. If you were there early enough, they did that on both days. I wasn't there for practice on the Sunday because after it being a washout on the Saturday, I woke up on Sunday morning and I was like, if I go and it's a washout again,
and I was like, doing this. I did the same.
I couldn't face it again. I was like, I was like squelching in my shoes all throughout Saturday. I was like walking in puddles.
As I said at the beginning of the stream, my clothes were still wet today.
Yeah, my stuff hadn't dried out by the time I put it back in my suitcase to fly today. So I was like,
it hadn't dried, and that's how wet it was. It was unbelievably wet.
I posted a photo of me with a hairdryer in my shoe because my shoes just weren't drying out. And I had to walk in them for the next day, so I needed to dry them somehow.
Thank God I took 2 pairs of shoes. I wasn't intending to wear those, but that pair of shoes that I wore on Sunday. But thank God I had them because my shoes were still wet, and I was like, I ain't having this.
Yeah, it was a soggy day. I don't blame people for, like, I obviously talked about the grandstands being quite empty on that day. I don't blame people for not being up there.
Yeah.
You were basically swimming to get to your seat in the grandstands. It was so flooded up there. It was just like
unbelievable.
Oh, it was messy. It was messy.
All in all, a good weekend, I suppose.
Yeah, I had a great time. I mean, obviously Nick Cassidy's my favourite driver, Jaguar are my favourite team. I got to watch Nick Cassidy win on the second day. I went to the podium. It was
you were in the right place for the podium, so that was good.
Yes, the second that Nick crossed the line and I knew he'd done it, I knew he'd won, just ran out of the grandstand, went round the back, and I was like second row for the podium, I think. Awesome. So it was.
If you got pictures, put them in the Discord. That'd be good.
Yeah, I've got a few videos of the podium celebrations. I was quite excited.
That'd be good to see. That'd be good to see. Right, Zoe, I've got to let you go.
That's right. Thank you. That was a really good chat.
No worries, and we'll speak to you soon. Are you in London?
Yes, I will be.
All right, perfect. Stay tuned for Mr. Pickering.
No, not long.
I don't know. Well, he says not long, but there's a topic I want to talk about, so we might extend the show slightly, but that would just be me and Pico. We're going to drop you off. See you later, Zoe.
See you later.
Right, let's go and get the happiest person in Formula E into our chat. It is Saz. Hello, Saz.
Oh, no.
Oh, she don't want to be here.
Try again.
She don't want to
try
be
again.
She doesn't want to be here.
Hello.
Hello.
Hey, there we go.
Hey, I'm here.
Hello. Are you shiny?
I am super shiny.
Excellent.
That's her
feels
phrase. Like a weird question.
That's because she says stay shiny.
Okay.
Come on, you've got to learn your viewers, mate. You've got to learn.
Yeah.
I've even got, which actually I was going to ask this at the end, but as you brought it up, I'm going to ask it now. Do you need new friendship bracelets? Because I'm currently making shiny friendship bracelets.
Mine will be in my drawer somewhere.
I keep it on here just to...
I do have it. If you want to make me another one, I'm more than happy.
Do you want a shiny one or a normal one?
What's a shiny one?
Am I fat?
Does it just say shiny?
No.
I've got some shiny thread.
Okay. Maybe. Whatever you fancy.
Can you still hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. I've kind of disconnected my mic by.
Don't play
holding it
around.
up.
We are still on a show. We don't need you breaking the set.
I was showing off my friendship bracelet. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I don't need you breaking the set at the same
Priorities.
time. Yeah, and breaking the set.
Lola Mechanic can fix a car. Yep. Pika can fix his microphone.
Excellent.
Same thing, really.
Same. What do you want to talk about, Saz?
I want to talk about Jaguar because I'm a very happy Jaguar fan, which is not something I've been able to say much this season. But yeah, I mean, both the races were brilliant. I said, well, in terms of the Jaguars driving, yeah, I mean the peloton on Sunday. Yeah, it was a great drive by Nick Cassidy. The whole race, though, was a bit confusing, like you were saying. Mm-hmm. But now, next leaving, I have on there. I think there's two ways they could go with this. They could either do, and obviously James Barkley is leaving, and last season James Barkley showed that he didn't really know how to manage two number one drivers. Yeah. So I'm wondering when they're looking for their new driver, are they going to get, if he's not kept on by Porsche, somebody like Antonio, who is a very good driver, former champion, or are they going to go maybe the opposite and do a Nissan where they had very much a number two driver? I don't think
you can. You can't afford to do that. I don't think you can afford to do that at all. You need to have two number ones. Basically, you need to have two drivers who are strong, especially if you're Jaguar. If DaCosta wants to go. There's no other. You like? Thank you. We'll have you. But let's talk about Cassidy quickly as a Jaguar driver. Do you think he's slightly regretting leaving Jaguar? Because maybe when he made his decision, Jaguar weren't in the greatest place, and obviously there might be more going on behind the scenes. But right now, Jaguar are in a small bit of resurgence, and there seems like there's light at the end of the tunnel. And he's won 2 races, and obviously when he's made this decision, if it was around Monaco time, he hadn't won 2 races, but now he has. And do you think maybe there's actually, you might thinking, maybe I should have stuck around?
Yes, I do, and I think like a lot of when he had when Jaguar were doing badly. I mean, there was definitely bad luck involved, but you heard him on the when I quite often listen to his radios in races, and he was complaining about the strategy. He was sort of annoyed, going, "Why do we do this? You're not listening to me." And I wonder how. And now it's all, I love you guys. You're the best. And you wonder sort of how much the frustrations and the conspiracy theories sort of got to him about. So I think maybe he is regretting it a bit, because they have shown, okay, we've had a tough time, but we've come back from it. We've now got a race winning car, and he could easily get he's 1 point behind Antonio at the moment, so he could still finish he could still finish third. Don't know if he can finish second, but he could still get third. So yeah, I think he might be regretting the choice, because I mean it also depends on I guess you get the WEC seat, although I mean Peugeot is okay in Sao Paulo, but they're not the best WEC team by any stretch of the imagination.
There's no clashes with WEC next season, so they can do all the races, so that's also something.
Yeah, that's also something, but yeah, it's not like, getting, well, I mean, this year Ferrari are the best in WEC, but out of the, you're not getting a top tier WEC team, although hopefully Peugeot will improve. But I think it might be a sort of a decision made with London, with what happened in London, losing the championship 2 times in a row. Then the bad start Jaguar had, his frustrations, and I think if he stayed, looks like Jaguar are going to be, touch wood, strong next year.
Yep, 100%. We'll see. We have to see what happens, and obviously we're going to talk about what's going on with Stellantis in a minute with Pico. But yeah, it's just interesting. But yeah, I think that they're on an upward trend. Is Jaguar, and it'd be interesting to see who's in the seat next season, and so forth, and go from there effectively.
Yeah, that's the thing with Stelliantis. They've sort of done so good, but Max Gunther, he's had 3 in the last 4 races. He's had 3 DNFs all through technical failures. It's kind of like, what's he was doing so well, and then it's just, I don't know if it's bad luck or if there's something up with the car. Or
we've seen a lot of technical failures lately. Obviously, Maserati have had some. We've seen a lot of just general failures. So, the reliability of Formula E cars in general have been a bit iffy lately. And there was a couple of red flags today. I don't know what it was in the rookie session. We'll talk about that in a couple of seconds as well. But yeah, interesting. But Saz, we're short on time, so I'm gonna have to let you go. But it was good Cassidy chat, that good Jaguar chat, and thank you for sticking around and listening.
No worries. Thanks for talking to me.
And we'll see you soon, alright? We'll see you in London, fingers crossed.
Yes, we'll see me in London.
Yeah.
Right,
ciao, shiny.
And you.
Ciao.
Bye.
I'm going to need a reminder before I leave for London in a couple of weeks' time to bring my the friendship bracelet.
Yeah, I'll probably wear mine as well, so I could point one way, to be honest with you.
Wow, that's the thing, I might forget.
Well, I'll try and
The thing is, you go home every day. I will go to Croydon every day.
Yeah, it's not great.
So,
it's not
great.
Yeah. Right, so, do you want to do your announcement now? And then we'll do our little talk that I want to do. So we
sure.
So we can make a video.
Right. Big news, everyone. Well, not so big news. So, are you coming to the London E-Prix? If that's a yes, good news. Last year we did a little meetup of people, and we'd
like it to be
chose
bigger.
it. Yeah, we'd like it to be bigger. So we'd like everyone to come and meet us. There isn't a fixed place, but last year I said by the stage and no one could hear a thing. So let's say
we did it outside, which was quite good.
Yeah. So I'd say meet by the Costa at 11:30 on the Sunday of London E-Prix.
Is that after qualifying?
What?
Isn't that during qualifying?
No, it's an hour before qualifying starts.
Okay. All right. So
qualifying starts at 12:20.
It started at 11:20 in.
Well, yeah, that's because the race starts at 5 in London.
All right. Oh my God, Jesus! We're never going home.
It's been 5 the last couple of years, so it's in keeping with it's been in keeping with the thing. So yeah, that's the big announcement. 11:30
at Costa Coffee.
At Costa Coffee on Sunday, the 20.
I'm sure there's 2 Costa Coffees, by the way.
The big one.
The big one near the fan village, I think, is the one. Yeah, not
the one that's sort of like in the middle.
Yeah, the middle one, the one at the back, not the one at the front.
Yeah, so practice 3 starts at 10, qualifying starts at 12:20, and the race starts at 5. So 11:30 outside Costa Coffee on a Sunday. That is where we're meeting. Get it in your diaries. Hang on.
Perfect.
Where am I? There.
Right.
So yeah.
So we'll definitely do that. So let's
I will post like photos and stuff in the chat with like coordinates or what 3 words or something like that, just to make sure that people know that we're meeting. But yes, that's the big thing. We are going to meet up there Sunday of London E-Prix, 11:30. Don't miss it.
Splendid. So 2 topics I want to talk about, and we'll try and, if we can bash it out in 10 minutes or 15 minutes, we've done well. We have to talk about Stellantis, right? So Barnard apparently has been signed by the Penske organization, which would gather or would make sense that it would be Maximilian Gunther, who is pretty much confirmed. He said it in a press conference that he is contracted. He's Penske driver for next season. So that means Barnard and Gunther potentially in the DS Penske next season, which is confusing because it leaves Jean-Eric Vergne. Now, Jean-Eric Vergne, then you'd assume, would go to Maserati, or is he going to leave the series?
Which will be Citroen.
Which will be Citroen, potentially, yes. So then you think, okay, and Nick Cassidy is signed for a Stellantis power tube, so Nick Cassidy might be going into that Citroen Maserati seat, alongside Jean-Eric Vergne. However, Stoffel Van Dorn stated in Berlin that he has a contract with Stellantis for next season. So as far as he is aware, he is in a seat. Plus you got Jake Hughes, assuming Jake Hughes' contract ends at this season. But at the moment they've got 6 drivers, 4 seats. What's going to happen? What do you think is going to happen there?
Well, the Van Dorn one is the sort of big one there, because so obviously Gunter's got, well, I say obviously, I mean, like, yeah, but we believe Gunter's got a long-term contract with
correct.
Penske.
And he stated
that. Which I want to point out, that's with Penske and not with Stellantis.
Correct.
So there we go. But the thing is, as far as we're aware, no one's switching up powertrains for next year.
No.
If people are switching up powertrains for next year, that's a little bit wild. I don't think it's illegal. I think it's just a little bit wild.
I don't know. But anyway, but more like
I think you are allowed to switch powertrains. It would just be weird doing it mid-cycle.
Maybe. Anyway, but Penske, right?
But yeah,
a link to go with Nissan, right? So they're breaking away and potentially having.
What?
I think it was Nissan.
Penske would link with Porsche because their WEC outfit.
Yeah, 100%.
Even though even though Penske Formula E has got nothing to do with Penske WEC and Penske IndyCar, because even though they share a name, one's Jay Penske's organisation, the other is Roger Penske.
Yeah, but
I think that's right.
Same. But
yeah, no, it's the same name and everything. So
they're rumored to change. So, but the thing is, obviously, Jean-Eric Vergne has been the DS Golden Boy since season 2, right? When it was Envision Virgin Racing, he was brought across.
Yeah.
And he's been with
the DS Virgin Racing,
the DS ever since.
But
right?
Interestingly, that powertrain was called a Citroen. So even though it's DS, but yeah, it would be intriguing to see Jev walk away. But the thing is, like, we're saying that, Jev walking away from DS would be huge, whereas we've said in the past, Antonio Felix da Costa leaving BMW would be huge, and that's what he did, and so it wouldn't be too much of a shock.
But then he's going to the B team, but he's staying in the family, sort of, with the Stellantis group.
That's if he goes. That's if he stays with Stellantis.
Yeah.
This is the thing. So if we're going off of what people have said the contracts are with, we believe Gunter said he's staying. The rumour is that Barnard's going. The rumour is that Casty's going. And Van Dorn has said that he's got a contract, which means there's your 4.
Yeah.
So Verne's out, and so is Hughes. Hughes isn't that much of a surprise.
Yeah.
Obviously, we kind of expected him to stay on because he's only just come into the fold for this season.
If that McLaren team had stayed on, by the way, I wouldn't be surprised. Like the McLaren team, but the Ian James team, I wouldn't be surprised if Jake Hughes would have found himself back at that team. But at this moment, I'm very confused where Jake Hughes will find himself. But
I think Jake's best options are maybe like a Kiro
Cooper Kiro. Yeah, that's the main.
Or trying to scramble his way into Jaguar, or seeing what's happening at Porsche.
I think, Porsche. I don't know what's going on.
Because Porsche is just such a weird situation.
It depends. Honestly, the Porsche situation, I think, depends on Da Costa. It depends on where he decides to go, and if Da Costa decides to leave, then that will be a domino effect of potential moves in the off season. But if he decides to stay, then there's less movement. But I do think a Dan Ticktum, Jake Hughes team is likely. The hilarious thing is, if Van Dorn has a contract and they stick with that contract, so then it's in the Stellantis cars, it's Van Dorn and Cassidy, and then in the DS Penske, it's Barnard and Gunther. The fact that Jean-Eric Vergne is out of a seat seems crazy. It seems ludicrous because despite him not it seems like he's kind of just fallen away. He's like this yesteryear driver, and maybe that's a really harsh way to put it, but it feels like a Fernando Alonso in Formula One. Like, he's good, but he's not at the top anymore, right? And it feels like that with Jean-Eric Vergne.
I beg to differ, because look at what he did on Sunday.
That's what I was going to say, because he can show you that day. But Alonso could do the same.
Where in the championship? Where is he in the championship? He's
about 5th or 6th.
Been consistent. He's been consistent
he's been
all
up there.
season.
And that...
He's, like, his entire season, like, he's barely been out of the points. He's 6th in the championship.
Yeah. But it's not incredible,
and that's within a race win of Taylor Barnard in P3.
Gunther's won a race this season, right back to
Gunther's
Jeddah.
run 2 races. Gunther's had the higher highs, but he's had the lower lows as well. And that's the thing with Max Gunther.
Jean-Eric Vergne hasn't
had that consistency.
Jean-Eric Vergne hasn't had that highs in a long time, right? And that's his issue.
But he's still.
I'm not saying he's a bad driver. I think he's brilliant, right?
He's still fighting. He's still fighting at the front. He's still constantly getting points. He got a podium the other day. The thing is, this is a very difficult series to win in.
He could be out, but what we're saying is he could be out of Formula E.
Yeah.
Where's he going to go?
Yeah. He might just stick with Peugeot in WEC. And like SB10 pointed out in chat, he's got very deep Stellantis ties, and so if it's not with Citroen or whatever the team's going to be called next year, Maserati, then we might say goodbye to Jean-Eric Vergne in a couple of weeks' time. We've sort of come to terms with Sam leaving the sport. But I think Jev leaving the sport as well would be.
I can't see Jev leaving.
A very big blow. Right. I mean, like, personally, I can't see him leaving. He's still rather young. He's only early 30s, mid 30s.
Mid 30s.
When did he? So he did F1 2012 to 20.
So 2012
14
is 13 years ago. So if he's in his early 20s,
like, he must have been about 22 when he joined.
So that's 35.
He was born in the 90s. He's 35.
So 35.
He's 35. But the thing is, you've got Sam leaving makes sense. He's almost 40, and he can go and help McLaren develop their WEC project.
Yes.
And I think everyone sort of made peace with that. But Jev's going while he's still at his top of his game. Obviously, we were saying that Buemi was going to go,
but he's
had this. The thing is, Buemi had such a long drought of just nothing, and then boom, Monaco, the win that.
And it kind of turned.
I think everyone celebrated that win. The same with Mitch on Saturday. Everyone celebrated that win, regardless of whether you like the drivers or not. You just pleased to see them back at the front. And Seb's now gone on this form, and he
wants to stay.
We're now talking about whether he might be around for Gen 4.
And even Robin Fries.
The thing is, like, whereas your Sams, your Lucases, it feels like it's their time to.
We think Lucas will be on the grid next season anyway with Lola.
Lucas will be on the grid next year.
I think.
Originally, he said. When I spoke to him a couple of years ago, he didn't think that he'd be around for Gen 4. I think now he's seen what the Gen 4 car's like, I think he will stick around for at least a couple of years. So Robin
Fries as well, he's kind of shown how strong he was this weekend, and you're thinking, but if Vergne then, if we're talking about Da Costa, right? If we're talking about Da Costa going to Jaguar, and if Vergne is out of a seat, then if you're Jaguar, that's a tough choice, because if you've got Vergne and Da Costa of who to choose from, that's tough, right? But then, does Vergne want to stay in the series and maybe join Dan Ticktor at Cooper Kiro, for example? Because we're not expecting David Beckman to be in that seat.
Sorry, you saying Jev to Cooper Kiro?
Well, that's the thing. You've got to think, if he's out, let's say he's out. Right, he's out.
No.
He doesn't. Let's say he doesn't have a seat.
This is a Stellantis or done.
No. But you don't see him going to Jaguar. So you think he'd just walk away from the whole series if he doesn't? So if he's not in a Stellantis, he'd walk away.
Yes.
Because I could see him. Why can't he go to Jaguar?
Because his ties with Stellantis.
Because of the WEC programs.
Yeah, because of WEC as well.
Okay. So you think it's interesting, this, isn't it?
Like, yeah, I just don't see it happening. The thing is, like I said earlier, I never saw Da Costa leaving BMW, and he left to join Techeetah, and look at how that fared. He won in his first championship. It was his first year. It was his first year in DS Techeetah. He won that championship,
and then he moves on to Porsche.
Yeah.
Right. So final thing I want to talk about, because obviously we had the rookie test today, and Gabriele Mini, top the sessions, right? F2 driver, 20 years old, Italian, right?
Gabriele Mini.
Yeah, not had the greatest of F2 seasons at this present time. He's had a couple of DNFs recently, one podium, I believe, and I'm thinking, okay, so he's not, I know he's young, he's 20 years old, and at this precise moment, we had Paul Arad last year, who did a good job for Envision, and obviously he's setting his sights on F1 and so forth with Alpine currently. But
I think I think Aaron should be in that Alpine seat instead of Colapinto. But I do not rate Colapinto.
But
that's a different
story. But I'm looking at this kid, and we were thinking about your mate Sergio Sette Camara coming into this SAN and setting the world alight. And I'm basing it off qualifying, right? Because yes, he did score 2 points for the race on Sunday, but in terms of qualifying, like Felipe Drugovich, fair play to Drugovich. He did
a mega job on Sunday.
He did a mega job. Was fairly consistent. Did a mega job. But Sergio Sette Camara, I expected more, and didn't get it.
I didn't. I obviously when you're stepping in for a weekend, it's like I don't think he was ever going to set the world alight. Which, and yes, Ollie's had an amazing year, but the thing is, we know that Norman Nato is no slouch, and he's been struggling, and so I wasn't expecting. I wasn't expecting Sergio to come in, and I think he did a very good job gaining a couple points for the team, and arguably that's what he was brought in to do, just to try and make sure that when when Norman did miss those races, that he was able to step in and add to the tally. Obviously, Nissan had hoped that Norman would have a much better year than he did.
Yeah.
But I think Sergio still had a very solid
weekend.
I think there was not a huge amount. He could have qualified better. He could have, but I think the fact that he knows how peloton race works and that he was able to cycle to the front at the end, I think he did a decent job getting those couple points. And
does Mini's performance of topping both rookie sessions bring him into contention for?
I think so. Yes, but I think it also depends on what Alpine does with their seat for next season, because
I don't think Mini will be in it.
I don't think he will either. But I think that seat is very sort of up for grabs at the moment in F1, because I don't think Colapinto's doing the job. I think that Alpine need to court other drivers. From people that I spoke to who work at Alpine, Jack Doohan this season was the last resort. They had Carlos come around the factory. They had a handful of other drivers go around the factory, and they couldn't get any of them to sign on, and so they signed Jack Doohan. And when Colapinto showed some speed in a Williams last year, they snapped him up with the intention of putting him in later in the season, which is what they've done. But
it's not massive.
The thing is, Colapinto was brought in a Williams last year to replace Logan Sargent, because Sargent was crashing too much. And in 3 fewer races, Colapinto did more millions worth of damage than Logan Sargent did, and that's that's sort of where Colapinto is. Colapinto has the speed, but
consistency might not be there.
He likes the wall.
So
yeah,
because we're umming and ahhing, because obviously with Nissan and their push for the team's championship with Porsche, it's obviously been very heavily one-sided, and Porsche, well, lost a little bit of points on Sunday, but on Saturday gained a ton, right? And extended the lead in the team, and so you feel like Nissan need a second driver that's going to be strong, and Mini showed potentially that he could be it, but maybe it's a risk. But if there's a driver that they're looking at and it's been on their books, and you top both sessions in a rookie session, and you're not 100% sure, you think, right, maybe we've taken a punt on Taylor Barnard. Taylor Barnard showed that he was quick in pre-season testing in Valencia, and we knew from that moment that he was going to be good. Could it be the same with Mini?
Potentially, yeah. For some people it works more than others, but I think when Jake Hughes came into the series a couple of years ago and he did that first race in Mexico City, and he was absolutely knackered after the race. I mean, that's one of the toughest races I've ever done. And we've seen Taylor come in, and it's almost effortless.
Yeah,
Taylor's performance this year, which is just remarkable, and the fact that he's just come in, and yeah, admittedly he wasn't in a great car in F2, but he didn't really show a huge amount of performance. I mean, his teammate Josh Dirksen was doing all right in F2 and has won a couple races here and there, and has again this year as well. But yeah, I think definitely sort of like the rookie test or something. I think that second Nissan seat is something to sort of watch over, because now that there's less cars on, there's going to be less cars on the grid next year, because McLaren haven't found the investment, unfortunately. Well, the James team. There will be lots of people phoning up Nissan and going, right, what's the play? And I think you could add Felipe Drogovic after this weekend's performance into that as well. Victor Martins, who is getting on a bit in F2. Richard Verschoor has said that he wants to, that he's looking at Formula E as a potential option in the future, because this is his last season of Formula 2.
So you felt like maybe him trying to get a rookie session might be good.
Maybe, yeah. So maybe, yeah. There are some options for Nissan, but yeah, we'll have to see.
We will have to see indeed. Finally, just a quick word.
Another one?
Yeah,
we're going for 2 hours non-break.
Yeah, I don't know. We've done quite well here.
The last 20 minutes has just been us rabbiting on.
Yeah, I know, but we needed to do it for video content. So it's become a bit of a podcast show. Surprised Porsche never contacted Dan? Just a couple of words, sentence or two.
Yeah. I mean, obviously there was that report that apparently he had, but apparently he hasn't. So yeah, it's smoke and mirrors, isn't it? So yeah, but he's been. The thing is, I think Da Costa is still the better all-round driver, but I'm surprised Hickton wasn't
considered. Or hasn't been asked. Or hasn't been Rowland and been asked. Well, I feel like it was a successful show. Interesting. Obviously, we had no guests, so we funded through as many callers as we could. We've
probably done more than you do usually, without the guests. So yeah.
But obviously we love the guests, but obviously with the show, with the rookie test, them being in Berlin and on flights now, it was obviously impossible to get so many people on. So, but we will have them back for after London for sure. I'm very hopeful of. So we will be back obviously for London. Thank you so much for watching.
We'll be in London.
Remember,
11:30 on the Sunday at the Costa Coffee. We'll see you there.
Someone's buying the hot chocolates and coffees. I don't know who that is. We'll put it on Formula E's tab or Pico's tab. Last push.
Let's persuade Jeff to come and put it on his tab.
Put it on his tab. Put it on the Formula E expenses.
Yeah.
Last shout. Obviously, we're getting closer to 1,100, by the way, in terms of subscribers.
Oh,
so
wow.
If you would like to subscribe, please do. Helps out us massively. If you'd like to become a member, please do. Just supports us and helps us deliver the best content and keeps us going for many years to come and so forth. So please make sure, if you would like to do that, it would mean a lot to us. And you get a cool little sticker and in our Discord. If you've not joined our Discord, !Discord, but if you are in our Discord and you're a member, you get a nice little cool little colour, stand out from the crowd. So, some benefits. But thank you so much for watching. We will be back after the London E-Prix. Good night.